Friends, hi, I'm Tammy Kay. Welcome to my channel. And what if I told you that you could paint any flower? And the reason I'm saying that is because if you have the right confidence, you can do it. So today I'm sharing my 3 favorite floral reference books. This is the Flower Color Guide, then the Flower Color Theory, and then the Flower Book. And with these 3 beautiful floral reference books, we'll be doing a painting like this and like this. So we'll be doing 3 paintings representing 1 painting from each book. And there is a 3rd one that I haven't showed you today, and we'll save that for the end. I promise you, it's not as hard as it looks. You can do it. But before we paint, we have to take a quick peek at these beautiful reference books. So first of all, the Flower Color Theory is what we'll be painting with first. And it's just a whole bunch of different bouquets of florals put together in absolutely gorgeous fashion. Lovely tropical florals there. And it's just such an inspiration because you can do all kinds of paintings. You can do the vase and the florals, or if you want to, you can just paint the flowers on the page without the vase. You can mix and match the flowers. So that's a lot of fun. The second one that I'm showing you is the Flower Color Guide. And I love this because there's so many beautiful inspirational flowers on here. And they are in order of their colors. So there's the purple section here. We've got some of those kind of pinks and peaches and some orangey colors, some yellows. And it's all just a little, I would call it kind of like a bouquet of flowers of the same type or in the same color and the same flowers. So you can make up your own bouquets that way. You could mix and match different flowers if you wanted to do in a painting. I got some splatter on there because I use this book actively. In the back, you have these little tear out sections, these little cards, and it tells you what it is in the back. If you wanted to test your knowledge, kind of fun. Love that. Okay, and then the big boy. This is the Flower Book. And this thing is great because it's just inspirational if you want to paint large. And let's just go have a flip through with this. So there are bouquets in here, but it'll start off with the flower itself, and then the next page, a bouquet of that floral. Just like so. And it gives you a whole bunch of helpful information. I have painted that one. So much fun. So they'll have a lot of information, and then they separate them into seasons. And of course, I have things marked, the things that I want to paint still. I have painted that too. So much fun. And the iris. I painted the iris as well. Loved that. So these are great resources. Let's get into painting though. Boop. So friends, are starting off with the Flower Color Theory book, and this one does have the bouquets. So my intention with using these reference photos, usually I tend to leave the vase out. And so I'm just trying to tightly kind of paint together these little florals, these blooms. I'm adding in that first layer, which is just putting out the basic shapes, getting things in order, the big blooms, the medium blooms, the small ones, the filler florals. And then we start to add in, and I'm using a dagger brush here, by the way. We're gonna add in some foliage, the greenery, in just a second here. Here we go. So that we have all that filled out. So you can do the vase if you want, but you can see there's a lot of white space on the original page, and I'm not emulating that today. But now we've started to add in that second layer of color, adding some shadows and texture, more definition to those florals. So with a reference book, I like to keep it open and simple, but I also like to leave it up to my interpretation. I don't typically follow something exactly as it is on the page. So for a bouquet, I just want to use it as inspiration. Sometimes I'll add in a lovely vase, and sometimes I'll just leave it like a full page of flowers. Now I've added in my 3rd layer of color for some places for more definition, and that is how I'd use this particular reference photo. Don't forget splatter. So now I'm switching to the Flower Color Guide, and instead of bouquets of flowers, it actually has different florals in different arrangements of that same flower. So we've got zinnias here, and I started off adding in my center. So instead of trying to minimize white space and fill everything in this particular bouquet, I'm trying to emulate just the positions of where those florals are, but I do add in more details that aren't in the photo. Again, I like to make things my own, and because of that, I've added in extra leaves here just to fill out and balance the composition more. So now I've done my second layer of color. I'm using a small filbert brush, which is going to give me the round tips of the petals, which I love. I don't have to do a lot of work, but just place those petals where I want them. Adding in a third layer just to make it more saturated, the shadows, and it just pops and looks so pretty. A little bit of splatter here, and darkening up your leaves and your stems are really very important. Sometimes you missed a few and you gotta add a couple more brush strokes here and there just to fill it out. So for this last one, we are using the flower book and we are doing these orchids. Now this one is a little bit different in that I did follow it pretty closely to the reference photo. In this book, you're gonna find large blooms. You're gonna find them in accentuated size, and in those other books, they're very small. And that helps me to paint large. I don't usually paint on paper larger than 9 by 12, so this is about as big as we're gonna get here. But it encourages you to really hone in on those little details because, for example, because these flowers are so blown up, you're seeing these beautiful veins and you're seeing the stamen in the center and all those little details more than you would in a tiny little book. So we've got all the basic shapes down. We added a second layer and now this is that third layer. And I'm doing the center of this. I was a bit nervous because, well, I'll just be honest, making orchids is a little bit challenging. I took my liner brush here and added in all those pretty marks. Now, if you're trying to paint something spot on, it helps your muscle memory, it helps your brain, and it's a great way to learn. So now I did something a little different here. I decided to add another bloom that wasn't there, as well as add in some gel pens. So yes, I decided to outline the petals, outline not the stem, but just those petals to accentuate them, to give them some more fancy details. So this is another way, doing a little bit of mixed media where you can create a reference photo that is your own, or the creation is your own and something that you've developed and based on your aesthetics. Okay, friends, you painted the florals with me. Hopefully, if not, you were just observing and researching. And I promise you that if you start using reference photos, books, whatever it is, it's going to greatly improve the florals that you create. If you want to purchase or just look at these books, they are linked below. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy doing these florals. Happy painting and happy mental health.